Let your heart engage. From corner cafes to the bustling street, Lathrop's got the soul. Feel the heartbeat. Every word we share makes the moment complete. Yeah. Living Lathrop, oh, we're live on stage. Voices in motion, turning every page.
Welcome back to Live in Lathrup Village podcast. I'm Lauren Barris, and I'm here today with Joe Robinson.
Hi.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for coming today.
Absolutely.
So, what I knew about you first was that you are on the Planning Commission for Lathrup Village.
Correct.
And for people who are watching, what is the Planning Commission and what do they do?
The Planning Commission helps to guide the choices that the City Council makes as far as business decisions, expansion of businesses, new businesses coming into our community, and make suggestions to council. We don't, we make recommendations, and then they either accept those recommendations or decide that that's not something that's, best for the city. But so far we've had some very good legislation that has come out of my first couple of meetings, one being the ATM machines and the signage for ATM machines with regard to the Bitcoin and
the Bitcoin thing. We can talk about that a little bit, but that was really interesting. And you suggested guidelines for that for the council, and the council accepted that. Absolutely. And what was the other one that was a big deal? You said just recently.
I believe it was the solar, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The solar panels for storage, solar battery power for EV chargers and things of that nature.
And things like that are coming up more and more and more.
Absolutely.
And you are getting ahead of that a little bit.
Absolutely.
And in the Planning Commission, you also can make zoning changes, or do you don't actually also make those zoning changes, but you suggest it to council?
Yes, we can make suggestions again, and make suggestions to look at current zoning ordinances to determine whether or not they still fit the climate of the businesses that we're doing currently in Lathrop, or if it's something that maybe needs to be tweaked or changed or even gotten rid of. So.
And we're actually every 5 years in the middle of like we are now in the middle of our master plan update.
Correct.
So I imagine that the Planning Commission is very involved in the master plan update and with Giffords Webster as well.
That is correct.
Okay.
Currently, we are we've already gone taken a look at housing. Now we're going to be taking a look at transportation, and we're basically going through and determining what are the priorities for Lathrup Village. What are the priorities still the same from 2021, or how have they changed? And if so, these are the recommendations as to what we need to see going forward. So
very interesting. Now, the Planning Commission they're all appointed people, or it's all, you had to apply to be in that, but it's all volunteer.
Correct.
Right?
It's all volunteer.
How many people are on it?
There are six, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to say 6 or 7. It seemed like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you're all sitting up there where City Council sits too in their meetings. And do you have to wait for someone to be relieved of their position or leave their position in order? There has to be an open seat.
Yes.
Right?
There has to be an open seat. And there was an open seat at the time I applied. And I just sort of threw my hat in the ring just to, see if I could lend assistance to Lathrup Village in some of the decision making.
Joe, you're being very modest because throw your hat in the ring. I mean, with some of your background, I mean, you did say that you were on the infrastructure team. I don't even know if people understand that group, the infrastructure team. That was also another volunteer group that worked with the Planning Commission.
That's correct.
To do some changes. What was that?
The infrastructure committee, at the time, we looked at the roads, the culverts, the ditches, the water, and the sewer system. So it's a full infrastructure for the city to determine what projects needed the most attention, what projects we could sort of take a back seat and look at those down the road a little bit. But we did a lot of sidewalk replacement. We did a lot of we fixed a lot of roads. And I think in the intersection of Lincoln and Southfield, we did a water main or some upgrades there. So, it's some just
important growth and changes and updates for the city.
Absolutely.
But before you were even on the infrastructure committee, you brought with you just a wealth of experience and well over 20, 30 years of experience in all kinds of management, city management. I know you did something with Detroit Water and Sewage.
I was the financial controller for the City of Detroit Water and Sewer Department for 7+ years before I moved over to City proper. Right now, I am the ARPA agency chief financial officer for City of Detroit. American Rescue Plan. Yep, American Rescue Plan Act. So the federal government, as a part of the relief effort for the major cities who were impacted, of course, by COVID, by the pandemic, the federal government sent monies to the city in order to help offset some of the loss in revenue. And so the city of Detroit, under Mayor Duggan, and now under Mayor Sheffield, you are utilizing those dollars to facilitate programs that are helping the citizens within the city of Detroit.
Okay, and you're the CFO?
I am.
Okay, so you control how those dollars are spent and make sure that they're all accounted for and that everything is done just right.
The departments are the ones that come up with the project plans, get those approved, and I'm the one that gives them the mechanism by way or with which to spend those dollars. So I do the mapping for the general ledger and say, okay, here's your budget, and here's whatever it is that you need. If you need personnel, if you need contractual services, that's my role. So.
Okay, and you've also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and then any financial reporting.
Oh, well, that's a lot of financial reporting, probably because it's also government money, right?
Absolutely.
So there's probably a lot of financial reporting. And I know that you've done a lot of travel with works that you've done in the past, including military work, and you have military clearance to fly. What does that mean?
Well, what the clearance that I had, I worked for Tower Defense and Aerospace. And what we did there at the time, I worked there. I was also the controller there, and we did we made the IEDs, the incendiary incendiary device IEDs. I can't remember the actual acronym,
what it stands for.
But what it did is we made the shields that went under the tanks. To keep so if they went across a mine, if it exploded, it didn't come up through the tank to injure the servicemen. So,
oh my! Yeah. And that's that you worked for that company.
Yeah. And
then you had to do travel for them. Is that it?
I didn't travel for them, but I did travel for ATS, which is Applied Tech Systems, which is another defense company. They did supercomputers for the Department of Defense through, believe it or not, Rolls-Royce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I went over to Amsterdam This was back, I think, in 2010. I stayed over there for a month.
Okay.
And worked over there for about a month, helping them or transferring everything that I had done here in the United States to the team over I went to the Netherlands, actually.
Netherlands. So when
Mhm.
you uproot for a month and live in another country like the
Mhm.
Netherlands, is it, I mean, are you outside much, or are you just really kind of working, waking up, going to work, coming
Oh,
home?
no.
But did you actually get to have a life while you
Oh,
were there
yeah,
and
no.
enjoy
Oh,
it?
the town I went to was Harlem. Harlem, New York is named after Harlem in the
Oh,
Netherlands.
I didn't know that.
And the town is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I did a lot of sightseeing there. And I left there and I took a little junket on one weekend over to Paris.
Okay.
And so I went to Paris by myself,
Yeah, how adventurous and
That was
fun.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
you've done a lot of things. I know seems like a non sequitur, but you're also on the board of the Girl Scouts, or you were? Or
I am.
You are.
I'm
Yeah.
currently one of the board members for Girl Scouts of Southeast Michigan.
Okay.
And I'm also the board secretary.
And now, what do you do on the board for the Girl Scouts? What does a board do for the Girl Scouts? Because they must be a 501c3.
They are.
And every 501c3 has to have a board.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is correct. I also sit on the audit committee. So one of the things we audit the financials for the organization, and we also help to drive the planning as it pertains to, let's just say, some of the social changes that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
And so we take a look at one of the big ones that we had done was DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's so how does this fit within Girl Scouts? Does it fit within Girl Scouts? Is this something that Girl Scouts should take a look at as our chapter, or is this something that should be handled or reviewed on a national level? So there are different social changes that are happening that we have to be abreast of, especially as it pertains to affordability, the girls in our membership. Yeah.
Wow. The Girl Scouts isn't a government agency, is it? It's
No,
a private agency.
It's private. And
Okay.
and the biggest thing that we do right now for Girl Scouts is STEAM. Everyone thinks it's cookies. It's not cookies. It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Okay, the arts and math.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of STEM, it's STEAM. Okay, that's the first time I've heard that.
Right.
You're such an interesting person. It's so inspirational. I knew that there were many layers to you, Joe Robinson. So presently, you're working for the ARPA.
Yeah, I'm working for City of Detroit, managing the ARPA dollars. Yeah.
Okay, the ARPA dollars, and you're on the board of the Girl Scouts presently. I
am, and I am the head trustee for my church, and I do sign language for my church, and I am also the president of my league, my bowling league.
Your bowling league, okay.
I stay busy.
Yeah, I know busy. Kelly Garrett loves to bowl too, our mayor pro tem. She loves to bowl.
Good to know, because I want to get her on, see if I can't get her on
your
on
team.
My league,
yeah,
right.
we just threw that out there.
Oh, cool.
But it was so you threw your hat in the ring for the planning commission, but I don't know how they could have said no. With all the experience that you had, and we're so grateful that you brought all that experience to Lathrup Village, because we are definitely benefiting from you being on the commission.
Well, Lathrup has a lot of very, very, very good citizens, and like my neighbors, I love my neighbors. My neighbors we have a text chain.
Oh, nice.
And so, anytime something happens, or, hey, happy Easter, or, so we just check in on one another if someone's going to be gone. And it's like, well, I'm going to be gone. Just, take a look
at my place.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So
that's so great. I love that about Lathrup Village too. It's like Mayberry in a way.
It
is. But
it's
cool, and
it is
modern and diverse.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah.
How long have you lived here?
I have been a resident for 13 years now.
Okay. And you have 3 daughters?
I do. I have 3 adult daughters.
3 adult daughters.
Thank God they live a away from you.
But we love them.
Yeah, we
And
do.
you
Yeah.
are definitely an inspiration to young women and older women too. I want to tell you, I'm
appreciate
thrilled that
that.
you could come today and we could get to know you a little bit and
Absolutely.
find out where you came from and what you're doing for the city.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us that time today too.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
absolutely.
Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you. And please hit that subscribe button so you can follow us on Live in Lathrup Village podcast and wait for our next episode. Thank you so much. And that's it.
Your voice deserves a studio that gets it. B2M Studios isn't just recording. We're your podcast launchpad, your streaming command center, your video production powerhouse. Professional sound, zero compromises. Ready to turn your ideas into content that actually matters? Your platform is waiting. Your voice is ready. Let's make it heard.